Hi everyone, it's Jen from Mind's Eye, and I wanted to say that this is probably one of the hardest conversations ever, but that's how I always start because what am I? I'm actually called Formidable Source Sound after someone did me in in the field as a visiting nurse. So I'm always interrupted through someone speaking through, and most of the time it's my spouse trying to speak through me. But in reality, we're actually going to do part three of Roanoke. He knows when to not speak through me and let me know what's going on. But let's see. It was really hard to actually get everything through as far as Roanoke. And when we went into Syncatigue and we went through it and how this phenomena went out and how did it get to Syncatigue, and then how did it get to Appalachia, and then how did it get to JFK? And I'm like, it's got to be aliens. But in reality, I don't know. It's really hard to say. So when you say this, you go, this had a lot of strength, this movement out. And when I say that, when you actually boil it down to scientific proof, where there was an arrowhead and an artifact left, when we were talking about the people who were there and their personalities, they were very free and carefree, and they went to a boil out. And I'm seeing almost like a clam bake. That is something else like coming through. We're having this party, and when we see this, it actually goes like this. They went from someone who was able to do a lot of things, highly gifted, to nothing. But then I'm also seeing flow. It flowed. I'm seeing a tide rise. I'm seeing how they looked when they showed me in mediumship at the sky, and then they moved out, and there was a tide of forces that came through. It was something of a warrior that stood stoic, that you can't even give a defensive gift whatsoever. It was highly gifted of knowing of just a look and then a move out to get it done. And I'm like, you know what? I'm so tired of this. This seems to be a trend in my videos. Like I get on a rant of what needs to be done. So in reality, when you're like this, it's fated. It basically what happened with Roanoke, it was fated, highly fated. You weren't to control it. It caused havoc in a way known. And I'm seeing a spelling like a witchcraft known. It did bring a lot of joy, this huge uprising of moving out, but it really was not like how we think uprising. So when I see this, was it a trolling? Because when Appalachia, we kept saying this, like a trolling. But with Seoul, it was solidarity of the sun. There was something that came down that made solid, that pushed out of an eclipse-like phenomena. When I see this, this is like a bomb, but Dega. But Dega literally does not mean bomb. It literally means so solid that you can't move, that you have to move. When I see this, it means wealth. So when I'm looking at it, how it relates today on how people in the community talk about wealth and estate and heritage and inheritance on all forms, not just in probate court. They're talking about their culture. They're talking about heritage. They're talking about how it is. That's why we have Juneteenth. That's why we have all these celebrations, because it's about heritage. It's about gifting. So I'm seeing something more come in as more as the children that were in that area, they were unable to get gifts. It was something so hidden, and it's just a simplicity of a game that they're showing me like you couldn't play at night and they got sick. It froze. Everything of their life froze where they collected at certain times of the day or the year of the living. This was almost like an assignment living. This was almost like decreed that they had to live there. Like I'm like the way it's presenting forward to me and the energy of that area, it was a forced upon to live in Roanoke. The ashing, the ulcer, it wasn't an ulcer. I was just seeing the tide. I don't see an oyster. Oyster is a big clue to me in mediumship. It was a gone. It was a go out. It was a go for it. It really was something about they're showing me a house. So when I see the house and I actually see the curtain, I see the chest, and it's like the Ark of the Covenant, but it's not the Ark of the Covenant. So when I see it here, I say it's like a wheel of luck. It's like it was churning something about this to keep something going of energy. It when I see Nadis, I'm seeing militia like at night around that area. I do see power, and the power was just their energy work of a cutting away, of a blocking. There was no spell or witchcraft or any of that. As far as Berkana, it was a solid. When I see the rod and the staff, it means something different. When you have a rod and a staff, it is so stoic. When you hold your rod and your staff, what is which. It actually means something when you actually stand in a temple because one keeps you planted, the other commands out. So when you see Rideau, and in terms of this, it was such a hard cutting ride through of trying to get through that block where people are actually confused of how to get something done towards them. And what would it be? It would be almost a large calling upon. So what was Roanoke actually good at? What did they have that was wealthy? So they're saying wood runes. See what comes out of that. Havoc. So when I'm seeing what was wealthy for them, it was something of havoc. It was something that was harvested. Like this was something of like a type of weapon that I'm seeing almost like a wheel to harvest water, like a sawmill, like that actually conducted energy like that we would know about. It actually trolled like a diver, like a culvert that actually like flowed out. Like when I'm saying it rode out the tide, the flow, they actually could divert and convert energy in a way that was very hard to describe, where you could keep a fire going. That was the heritage in the estate. It froze a lot of things. It was good. I'm seeing that it birthed a lot of energy in a way that you couldn't understand back then that caused that wealth. So when I'm seeing it, it was highly defensive that you can't have it as the guy. The guy was so solid on that you couldn't even say it. Like I can't even get it out in mediumship. Give me a minute. It meant go forward and go forth and go forth and be a day bay, a lay. Basically, they would flood you out if you came through here That was their warning, absolute warning. It had so much joy, almost Viking pagan feeling of the living, of how they lived. That's why I see Lagu a lot in the runes. It flipped fate so bad that it turned it into destiny and power, absolute power. It was a high gift at night, high gift at night. That is what I'm seeing as it flooded through. So let's look through the crystal quartz and see how did that infiltrate through on something so hard and stoic as a type of weapon, but also a cultivation around the area. So when I see this, I go, you must go north. So when I go north, when I hear in mediumship, she's about 39 years old. I'm seeing her dress. I see it wet and tattered at the bottom, but I see her barefoot and I see a bear near her. And I say, it's more of the upstate New York where it flowed down through, where it actually cut away of everything, everything. Let's look at the Light Seers Tarot on how that happened. So they're showing me the town, and it was legal, it was law, it was judicial, it was military, it was militant like at times. But there was weakness, and it was at night, they said. It was over a separation of marriages confirmed. Ace of Swords at night. It cut away. Now I'm seeing offerings. I see apathetic faces. I feel like it was more stone faces. They were just so hard energy. When I see this card, I say they actually lost like their ability at times of too much high energy that you couldn't even be psychic. There was something neurological with them. I keep wanting to do this. It's not here. It's not on the parietal. It's right here on the temple. It's right here. You couldn't even get-togethers. You couldn't even get like they couldn't think all of a sudden. The Eight of Swords, they were trying to heal, but I'm seeing their heals. I see solitude. I see is a fulfilled wish. I'm seeing the ships come in to Roanoke. I'm seeing the west come in. I don't see north. I see north sitting. I see the south coming through. There's only a little bit, and it was not what they wanted whatsoever. It was a reunion of something that didn't want this to happen. You had to use your intuition so hard. I see people actually during that time frame meditating of what to do. Like, what was Roanoke doing that I'm seeing as a psychic medium that would cause ill judgment? Because that has been the actual flow that it was called through all the way down. Like, this is bizarre, absolutely bizarre. It was an absolute halt stop. It ended quick. I'm seeing 3:15, 5, 19, 4, 19, 4 row through. They couldn't get the message. Like they could not get the message of a forewarning. they lost security, like what they had hunkered down for their houses. The Knight of Wands in reverse, this is how they would act. They would just go, no, it's good. And then when you hear it, you go, there was just like no like foresight whatsoever. They lost money. They lost a lot of things. The Knight of Pentacles goes, there was no path. I mean, they're a one-man island. That's not even funny because it drowned and flooded. Yeah. What happened? Lack of communication. It was an energy block. That's what it's showing me. When you have natural occurrences like that have supernatural power, and it's not nuclear power, it can come down as nuclear power, the sun, radiation power. It can actually cause a block in something. That will cause a lot of a struggle to where it actually reverts people back into bad habits. The Four of Wands says, don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. You can't even get it through right now. No prudency. Was it prudency or well, they could see with their own two eyes, not necessarily if they're blinded. No attunement. I'm hearing no attunement whatsoever. So let's look at the Pleiadian Oracle since the mention of off-worlders, Aelia, had come through because this is something of it hasn't gone to the X-Files yet. But there are tendencies of abnormal behavior, of sudden changes that are indicative that there is something not right. I don't see UFO, I'm seeing Aelia. So what did Aelia mean? It meant energy work. It meant imagination. It meant something of a universal knowledge that they already knew. It meant fifth dimensional access, which means they were able to like tap into a higher level of consciousness, drug free. And when I see mothership, I'm seeing something of enigma that we were talking with Betsy Ross and Paul Revere of during the Civil War when ushering in the Rosetta Stone. The Alcyon means when you look at this constellation, almost of a northern light, that you can't have anything done because you sit there and you just stare. I'm doing something like high telepathy. I'm doing like something when they do have something tall and they actually bring something up, a structure in Roanoke that they could actually get better frequencies and they could hear things. It was something of like taking chances at times towards it. But when I'm hearing it, you go, you just can't even say anything whatsoever. Whatsoever. Was it here or was it here? When you see this, I don't see them eating a lot. I see them eating like soft diet, small amounts, frequent amounts. They would have been a fish, seafood based diet. When I see universal heart, though, I'm seeing like contentment with deer. But natural occurrences only when deer would come in, other wildlife. When I'm seeing this, children were actually so quick to pick up on things there that when I'm seeing Pakal's tomb, it's kind of hard to describe this, but basically it was a rituals at night that solidified things. I do see them having types of visions that are almost mathematical, and it's hard to explain when someone can sit and stare and actually do math in their head, it has been known after trauma that you can actually quickly process something by staring or scrying and almost be in a mathematical state. The golden egg says, what was the guarded everything? It really was something of a song of a soul. So there was something of a singing daily, because when you see Ashtar with the two wolves right here, it was something of a warrior known towards that made this sacred union, togetherness so solid you couldn't even go north. Because when you see how this card is with crystalline grids and all the clusters of stars, it made such an energy impact on tides and all of it that they remembered how to do something even without speaking. All right, let's see what else this is drawn to. Let's go to the Literary Witches Oracle. Oh. So I see a 4, I see a 9, I see the wanting to be a 12, but more of an 11. And I'm seeing something of the dark. Again, mentioning of the dark at Roanoke. When you see Emily Bronte, I see a type of fantasy. I'm seeing something with the body and obscurity all the way up to the soul, through the soul, where it is ghost-like. It is something of quite the story, that's that town. Because when I'm seeing the rabbit and I'm hearing frequencies, they couldn't even hear a sound. And rabbits, they're so low to the ground, they can hear everything, everything. There's something about healing there that is still a guarded fortress that you're not supposed to know what happened completely. It is nostalgia. It has happened before. Because when I'm looking at the wolf again in this, you can't see anything. It's a remembrance. It truly is. They have seen it. It's something of a toxic masculinity that has happened there. It is a type of freedom that you can't understand. So, to end quickly for video number 4, let's go to the Wild Unknown Tarot and see what that pulls out. So I'm being led into actually Pocahontas and John Smith. There's something about their energy around that area. All right. I see the 5 of Cups. There's something of a gelding still related to Salem, Massachusetts. It is a 9 of Pentacles in reverse where you couldn't secure something, to the Ace of Cups of a type of takeaway of a counterintuitive. Because when I see the chariot, I say, what is going on with that? It is a halt, stop. So when I'm trying to draw out Pocahontas and John Smith, I see the Four of Wands in reverse. No celebration. There's no celebration walking in. It was a lack of something. It was at night. I'm seeing how this is, the wood, the rings of this wood of the cut. I'm seeing the Seven of Pentacles, a lack of skill. To this, the Daughter of Swords in reverse, which would be the Page of Swords. You can't see it coming because it caused a pause. So with that being said, we'll end it there and we'll go into what? Because when you see this, I'm saying it literally, the Wheel of Fortune is in reverse. That wheel had stopped and they didn't know why. With that being said, we'll talk to you soon and we will look forward to Roanoke Part 4 and hopefully we can tie it up a little bit more. If you have any questions or concerns, go ahead and email me or send me a message on Telegram or on here in a comment box. If you feel like I did a good job, go ahead and send me a donation. We'll talk to you soon.